Welcome back. I'm very excited that we have some couch time tonight. For music, sometimes the show gets a little bit packed and we don't have quite enough time to sit down and have a chat with our musical guest. And tonight, I'm pleased that we are able to have such a chat with my guest this evening, Mr. Johnny Cowan. How are you, man?
Excellent.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I guess first and foremost, talk about your style. I feel like your style has courage and vulnerability in it. The manner in which you sing and the tone, the feel, the emotion that is so real, it's so authentic. Have you always had that? Did you try to be something else before, or did you always get that this was your style?
No, I certainly have tried to be other things, and I think through my musical journey, been in lots of bands. Started when I was like 12 and kind of formed my first band when I was young, and of course there was artists that I wanted to emulate, even in my vocal style or my writing style. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of reached this point where I'm never going to be as good as I think I want to be necessarily, and so I kind of have just in the probably the last 3 years, just been completely comfortable with.
Oh, that's great.
Just what I'm doing, and my voice isn't, perfect, but I'm pleased with where I'm at and just being able to be comfortable in my own skin and with my own songs. So,
well, if we agree to accept that communication really is the ultimate goal of music, having a certain perfect vibrato or any of those kinds of things is much less important than the way in which you speak directly to me as a listener, and I think to everybody else. So
awesome.
I'm glad to hear that you're in that phase of self-acceptance, because then all that stuff gets out of the way and you can really just get to the communicating and what it is that you want to talk about.
Yeah. And on that, I'm actually putting out an album in a month, and so what I play live, kind of going back to what you were saying, like style-wise, vulnerable, and just kind of telling a story and those things. It's hard because the challenge is when I play like this, like I'm doing tonight, kind of solo, it does give me an opportunity to be considerably more, I'd say, transparent or vulnerable in my message in the songs. You're able to hear the words better and those kind of things. But the album is quite a bit different, frankly, and so it'll be a little interesting to see, because it's full production and lots of instruments and
will you be taking a band out to support the new record, or are you gonna?
That's been the question. I love the craft of just creating music, and I love production. So I record. I've had 3 studios since since I've lived here in Salt Lake, and I just love creating the studio. But that does lend towards kind of doing a lot of solo stuff where I just end up, I just finished the songs or the album, and now I don't have anyone to play them without paying them or putting together a band. So actually, since I've been in Salt Lake, I haven't really put a band together that I've been really happy with, and I don't know that I will. I'm going to release the album, and I will be getting together with some other musicians in the coming weeks here to kind of test the waters and see if that's something I can do. But otherwise, it's freeing just to. I don't need the money or to make money off of this. This isn't my career, but it is something I'm passionate about. So I'm able to just release it, and we'll see. We'll see if a label wants to pay musicians to play with me. Great, then I will do it.
Well, and the nice thing about that philosophy and that approach is that if you don't find the right guys, there's nothing better than communing over music with other musicians. But if it's off a little bit, geez, it can be unfun to play, and it can be work to play with other musicians. It seems like a luxury that you can sort of, if you get the right people, great. If not, you're self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because I had my last band in California, where I'm from. We meshed so well, and I've had other bands in the past where you just mesh so well, and it's just been one of those interesting dynamics since I've been here. I'd say there's actually more musicians here.
It's crazy.
So many.
You can't swing a fill in the blank. I don't want to offend anybody, but you can't swing hardly anything and not hit a bunch of musicians in Utah.
Yeah, talented
ones too. Yeah, that's true.
But there's just something about that meshing piece, and especially because of the time I've had away from a band, it's been mainly my project and stuff like that. And there's always that awkwardness between asking somebody like, hey, do you like my music or my sound enough to want to play and join what I'm doing and eventually collaborate. But it's kind of a challenge in that. I do have a drummer that I really enjoy, and he's kind of like the rock behind you know, the hope behind maybe putting something else together and stuff like that. So we'll see. But
best wishes on that.
Oh, thank you.
So, new record coming out. Now, are you going to tour? You mentioned that you're not careerist musician person. Will you tour? Do you tour, or is it more of make records and have that be your creative outlet, and then just play shows around?
There is something fantastic. I love travel. I love people. So one of I tell. You know, one of my lines is that I love strangers more than friends, because I love being able to meet new people.
That's
it's just something I'm super passionate about, and you know, sitting at a dive bar or whatever and just getting to know somebody.
No question.
And if music is a catalyst for that, then absolutely I would love to do it. I've been in tours in the past, and I'm very cautious about, I don't believe in just throwing money at traveling with hopes of, I mean, very few people in reality, at least in normal you know, terms, or without some kind of backing, they're not going to make money on the road necessarily. You know, or break even, and I have a family and things that I support, so I'm not looking to just throw money to do it. But this coming year, with the album, this is my first debut album that I'm actually very proud of, and so I would like to think that I will do some short tours, but they'll be focused and probably more like singular city focused. So I would just go and play a singular city a number of times within driving distance. And I'm not into the big city kind of thing, so I'd rather focus on the little places. And again, because I don't really need to make money off of it, I can just enjoy the experience of doing that, and that's something that I actually look forward to, is, you know, hitting up some of the small towns in Nevada and Wyoming and Montana up front, and then you know, and see where that goes. They need music, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it occurs to me that your music sounds and feels like the Great American West.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So I can imagine that you would be well received in places where, hey, a guy who's only been here for less than a decade hears and feels that, and what this place is. Growing up in the Midwest and spending a lot of time on the East Coast, you get out here to the West, and there's something about this place that it breathes, for sure.
It is. It's fantastic. I don't want to deceive anyone, though, because the album doesn't sound. The first song I played, Rose, is on the album, and that's probably one of the only ones that sounds like that.
Gotcha.
So the rest of the album, and that's part of the challenge, is even tonight I was like, well, should I play songs on the album, because it won't actually emulate what the album sounds like, because it's very indie rock, basically driven. Okay. But the next one, I've already started on the next one, and that one I would like to think will probably end up being more Americana, folky, but with you know, dynamic and a focus on melodies and things. So so yeah, don't want to deceive anybody here. What I played tonight is a little different than the album that's coming out, but
it's okay. Variety.
There you go. Yeah.
Tell folks all the important social media informations.
Well, thank you. That's a privilege. Basically, I have a website. It's simple, but it's just www.johnnybetts.com. Betts is actually the name I use for performing. So if you go to www.johnnybetts.com, that's JOHNNYBETTS.com, you'll see there the album cover as it will be, and all the links to social media are on that website. So right at the bottom, you just scroll down and they're there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
all that
stuff. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So,
Johnny, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Really nice to have a chance to chat. You're going to do one more.
Sure.
After the break.
Okay.
All right then. Quick break. We'll be right back. One more tune from Johnny Betts. Please stay tuned.